Well, first of all, let me condemn completely the barbaric and brutal act that has taken place. And let's be clear what this act is. It is an act of murder, and murder without any justification. Now, we have not identified the individual responsible on the video, but from what we've seen, it looks increasingly likely that it is a British citizen. Now, this is deeply shocking. But we know that far too many British citizens have travelled to Iraq and travelled to Syria to take part in extremism and violence. And what we must do is redouble all our efforts to stop people going, to take away the passports of those contemplating travel, to arrest and prosecute those that take part in this extremism and violence, to take extremist material off the internet, and do everything we can to keep our people safe. And that is what this government will do. We will stick to the very clear foreign policy and the very clear strategy that we have, which is to work with the new Iraqi government to help make sure the Kurds get the arms they need to fight off these brutal extremist militants, to work with our allies, and as I've said, to use everything that we have, our aid, our diplomacy and our military prowess, to make sure that with allies we do everything we can to put the pressure on Islamic State, this appalling organisation, and everything we can back here at home to keep our country safe. That is what we must do. But I've been very clear that this country is not going to get involved in another Iraq war. We're not putting combat troops, combat boots on the ground. That's not something we should do. We have a clear strategy. We should stick to that strategy. And specifically here at home, we have very clear laws, tough laws. And of course, we'll always look at new proposals for even tougher laws to deal with terrorism and extremism. But it is not a time for a knee-jerk reaction. It is time for what Britain always shows in these circumstances, and that is resolve. We have defeated terrorism, extremism, threats to our country before, and we will defeat them again if we show that resolve, but also patience. This struggle against Islamist extremism, not a struggle of one religion against another, it's of all people and all religions, including Islam, against a poisonous extremism. We must show patience and resolve in fighting this here at home in the UK and in other parts of the world where countries are being affected. I've been very clear as Prime Minister over the last 4 years that this battle we face against Islamist extremism, not the religion of Islam, but a poisonous, extremist, violent narrative, is a generational struggle. It's a battle we have to fight in our own country. It's a battle that with allies, using everything that we have, our aid, our diplomacy, and yes, on occasions, our military prowess, that we have to fight, whether it is dealing with this problem in Somalia, in Mali, in Afghanistan, in Iraq and Syria. Because as much as we want to focus on keeping ourselves safe here at home, and that is my focus, what happens in these other far-flung places can come back and cause us huge harm here too.
Prime Minister, thank you very much indeed.